What's up? What's up? Polo Sports Talking Entertainment. All right, let's go ahead and let's get right to this. Okay. Now, uh, first and foremost, Land, let me give a shout out to the brother Too Raw for TV because and this is for two reasons. Too Raw for TV has brought up Shaquille O'Neal in two different videos. One was in regards to how sports writers were saying just an invalid statement saying that Wilt Chamberlain would totally dominate Shaquille O'Neal, and then also uh, that Shaquille O'Neal should have won more MVPs, in which he pretty much debunked that whole argument. Now, I, oh, what's up, Ted Cox? And I'm glad you showed up too, man, Ted Cox. And we're gonna talk about that. And True Viking, what's up with it, Queen? I see you in the building. Now, listen, man. Shaquille O'Neal, I just made a video the other day that he was phenomenal. Okay, he was phenomenal. He was a phenomenal talent. Like I said, like the late great Kobe Bryant had mentioned, he could have went down as possibly the greatest player to ever play this game. Okay, but there were several things that held Shaq up, and the one biggest thing was his passion and his drive to want to get better and come in that very next season dedicated and focused. And that took a lot away from him. Now, having said all of that, all right. Now, Ted Cox, you're sitting there saying you keep saying that Michael Jordan, 31 points per game in 95 second round against the Magic, Jordan was rusty. Excuses invalid. Okay, all right. I understand where you're coming from, Ted Cox. No problem with that. Okay. Now, before I get to that, let's just go ahead and tackle this right now, right? Shaquille O'Neal, as great as as great as he was, and he had Penny Hardaway. Okay, he had Penny Hardaway. Wasn't any excuse. They had a full team, had a full roster. Okay. Now it does take a team to win. However, I want you to go back when you have time and go look at that finals and put on and look at the display that Hakeem Olajuwon had put on. Okay, they completely dismantled the Magic, and Hakeem dismantled the Magic. All right. Now, my question to you is this: as great as he was, and you keep saying that, oh yeah, well he put out Jordan and all this other stuff like he won a championship or anything. He didn't get it done. It was a complete failure. And that like that's something to be celebrating. Oh yeah, you put out Jordan. There was a lot of people that put out Jordan. The Boston Celtics, they swept Jordan twice. You want to know how many sweeps Shaquille O'Neal has had though in his career? He's been swept 5 times in his career. 5 times. So I just want to I want to put that into perspective for you. Jordan was in shape, but Jordan just happened to be in he just happened to be just another beast and another animal to be able to somehow some way be in somewhat a condition that he was when he was about to play in those playoffs. Okay, but what? Okay, when he got to the finals, okay, Shaquille O'Neal did not put the icing on the cake. So you sitting there saying that he put out, you're saying that he put out Jordan, okay, and which okay, you want to celebrate that, that's fine. You said that he was the last superstar to do that. Okay, that's great. But I thought the whole goal was to win a championship because the last time I checked, they didn't do that. Now, if he was able to beat him in a series and then they went on to win a championship, then we're having a different argument, such as the Boston Celtics or such as a team like the Detroit Pistons. But you putting out Jordan, I mean, that doesn't say anything. And then you come back the very next year, and then what happened? You get your asses handed to you. So we could keep on saying this narrative and going all around these places and saying, okay, yeah, well, Jordan got put out by Shaquille O'Neal and all this other stuff. Okay, that's great. That's fine. But was Shaquille O'Neal as durable as Michael Jordan? No, he was not. Does Shaquille O'Neal have as many Finals MVPs as Michael Jordan? No, he does not. Is Shaquille O'Neal have the number one PER, which I use analytics in every single little thing? Is he up on that? No, he is not. So we need to stop it with that. Then Jordan came back the very next season when he had a full off season to get ready. Because if you played basketball before, or if you played any type of sport before, it's about rhythm. It's about timing. Okay. And listen, I'm a no excuse type of guy, but at the same token, you can't sit up here and you can't say, okay, well, yeah, well, man, he put him out like he won the chip. He didn't win. He didn't win anything. And then on top of that, look, it's and like I like to be fair and objective too as well because the other day I was talking about how they shitted on Shaquille O'Neal and how they people would say that he didn't have any moves and all this other stuff, which is inaccurate. Shaquille O'Neal did have moves, especially when he was younger. The only thing that he was not doing I mean, the only thing that he he was not doing was just dunking. He did other things. Okay, and I want people to understand that and realize that it's just that when you talk about highlights and when you talk about them putting making a case for Shaquille O'Neal in terms of what you see on ESPN and all these other channels and stuff like that, then of course they're going to show Shaquille O'Neal you know being vicious and attacking the rim and stuff like that. um this is another thing too, okay? Now, a lot of people a lot of people sit up here and they always bring up the fact about Jordan getting getting swept and everything. And it wasn't as embarrassing as some people think or whatever, but you gotta consider why they got swept against the Pistons. Now the Pistons team, man, you got to think about who was on that team. You had Larry Bird, uh, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, you had Bill Walton, and you had DJ. You had Danny Ainge. These guys could really play, despite what y'all may think. Who did Michael Jordan have on his team? in those sweeps. He didn't have anybody on his team. Okay, and then on top of that, in the first sweep that Jordan had, you understand what I'm saying? In the first sweep that he had, that's when he had only played 18 regular games, 18 regular season games, and then he only played three playoff games. So for us to keep bringing up, oh well, Jordan got swept and all this other stuff. Hey, in those two sweeps, I mean, come on. And he didn't have anybody on his team. If you go back and you go look at that roster, the only person that he had was George Gervin, and I think he had Charles Oakley and John Paxson. That was just about it. That was just about it. He didn't have anybody else. I mean, who you could go back and you could be like, yeah. And if you say George Gervin or whatever, I mean, you're talking about a George Gervin that was, I mean, well beyond his prime. George Gervin, I think he only averaged like 16 points on 47% shooting or something like that. What's up, True Viking? So I, I just I just want to put that out there because a lot of people they want to sit up here and they want to say, oh yeah, well, Jordan had got put out by Shaquille O'Neal. Okay, well, Shaquille O'Neal, for as great as Shaquille O'Neal was, this is another thing that I want people to understand. Okay, for as great as Shaquille O'Neal was, he didn't average he didn't average as many points as Michael Jordan did. Of course, he was playing with Penny Hardaway. He averaged 24. Michael Jordan, like you said, he averaged 31 points. You understand what I'm saying? He averaged 31 points and didn't even play. He like did not have a chance to really get in tune. Now, when he had a full season, guess what? But guess what? Guess what though? Hakeem Olajuwon was the Finals MVP, and you know what he averaged? I want people to understand this. I want people to understand this. Okay, in the hold on one second. Sorry about that, y'all. Okay, in that finals, okay, Hakeem Olajuwon completely dominated, and he averaged 32.8, 11.5, and like 5.5 assists. Just completely dominated. Just completely dominated Shaquille O'Neal. But you want to sit up here and you want to rave about Shaquille O'Neal getting it done and all this other stuff. And he was fine, but it was also a learning experience for him too, much like it was for Jordan when he had ran into teams like the Pistons and the Bulls and stuff. It was a learning experience. But I tell you what, he wasn't getting swept as much as Shaquille O'Neal. So why aren't we talking about that? Why aren't we talking about that? We don't want to. We don't want to sit up here and we don't want to bring up anything else. We want to highlight little small points just so that you could get little brownie points for knocking out Jordan. But I'm not gonna give you that, okay? And then on top of that, check this out too, right? This is another thing that we got to understand too about Hakeem in that series against Shaquille O'Neal. Okay, he was man. This dude could not be stopped defensively because he had averaged. Because I like defense. He had averaged 2 blocks too and 2 steals. Okay, so he was doing it on both ends. That's what I meant to say. Tell you too. So 32, 32, 32.8, 11.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 2 rebounds. I mean, talk about that. 2 steals and 2 blocks per game. Not to mention shooting 48% for from field goal during that time. He could not do anything with Hakeem Olajuwon. Couldn't do anything with him. Oh, wait. And by the way, by the way, I wanted to let you know too, also while you're raving about that. Did I mention they got swept too? Did I mention they get swept too? But you don't want to talk about that, do you? You don't want to talk about that, do you? Y'all want to talk. Y'all want to sit here. You just want to highlight um, Michael Jordan being being put out in the first round. That last time I checked, that went out. That went six. That went 6 games. He dominated Shaquille O'Neal. Okay, now he had the edge on him in rebounds. That's just about it. He had the edge on him in rebounds and in blocks. That was just about it. By point 0.5 blocks. But in terms of points, in terms of keeping up with him on both ends, he completely dominated Shaquille O'Neal. And they had a good team too as well, but they couldn't do anything. He used the veteran savvy against him. Case closed. So we could sit up here all day and be taking these little points that, oh yeah, well, Jordan got put out by I mean Jordan got put out by Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah, that's great. You put him out, but what did you do? It don't make it any much better if you put Jordan out and then you go to the finals and then you get swept. It makes absolutely no sense. And then you come back the very next year, and then what ends up happening? You end up getting your ass handed to you. And don't forget either. I also wanted to mention too as well. That very next year they got swept too. By the way, but y'all don't want to talk about that either. So that makes another Shaquille O'Neal not only got swept in the finals, he got swept in the Eastern Conference Finals by 2 different superior opponents. Right? So okay, just make it make sense to me. What is the celebration that you're celebrating over celebrating a man who really didn't have had that much time, which I'm not going to even make that much of an excuse. He still was able to put 31 on you, still able to take you 6 games, and then when Shaquille O'Neal went to the finals, he ended up getting swept, and then got swept the very next season in the Eastern Conference Finals, in which he got dominated. Um, he got dominated in the finals by Hakeem Olajuwon. Even though, but Shaq wasn't no scrub either. I think he was averaging like 20. He was averaging like 28, and but still he had the edge on him in points and everything, and just his overall dominance because the first two games, Hakeem Olajuwon had 4 blocks. He had a total of 8 blocks the first two games. One of the reasons why I have Hakeem Olajuwon as my starting center is because of his defense, and I've told people that time and time again. They're like, "Well, why don't you have Shaquille O'Neal? Why don't you have this person? Why don't you have that person?" Well, this is one of the reasons why is because Hakeem Olajuwon was was a lot more durable. He could be depended upon, and on top of that, he played both ends of the floor. You know, we're talking about a guy that was really durable. He wasn't missing a lot of games. And would play through Ramadan. He didn't really start missing games a lot until like towards the end of his career. Other than that, he was always good for somewhere along the lines of anywhere from about 75 to 82 games, with the exception, I think, of the 1990 season, because he played 56 games, and then in 85, he played 68 games. Other than that, 82, 75, 79, 82, 82, 70, 82, 80, 72, 72, 78. Just durable. And then in 99, you started 50 and 44 and 58 and 61. So we got to stop it. We got to stop it with this. Okay, yeah, Jordan got put out and all that other stuff. That doesn't mean anything. I mean, means absolutely. It doesn't mean absolutely nothing. If you want to take some brownie points for that, go ahead. What's up with it, Memphis? I see you in the building. So, y'all leave your comments. Let me know what you think. Like the video, share, subscribe, hit the notification, Polo Sports Talk and Entertainment. I'll get at you later.